Hello there, I'm John, and I will be showing you how I work my Singer 328K sewing machine. I picked this up at Goodwill a few weeks back for the princely sum of $7.50. It was in pretty sad shape. It cleaned up pretty well. It actually came with a box of parts and the actual owner's manual for 328, 6 or 7 cams, some feet, and assorted other things. So that was pretty cool that it came with that box, and it says for 328K. So it is a zigzag machine, stitch length lever here, forward and reverse, and this is the stitch width. This particular machine uses cams that go in here. And this particular model, you have to have a cam in for it to do zigzag at all. So it has a zigzag cam plus a few decorative stitch cams that you can get. Has a left, right, center needle position. So why don't I go ahead and stick a cam in there, and I'll be using cam 31. It is looks like a scallop cam. Drop that in, and you see this little pin over here. When you switch this lever, that drops that pin onto the cam, and then the further you go, the wider the pattern gets. So you put it over to 0 if you want to put a new cam in. And then we'll put the knob back on the top and close it up. This is the light switch. Apparently earlier versions of this 328 didn't come with a light switch, so when you plug it in, it would just have the light on at all times. Okay. I've got a class 66 bobbin here. Doesn't have much thread left on it, but we'll go ahead and stick it in. This is a pattern swatch I did with all the different cams, so this shows you what the different variations you can get on this machine. So this goes in here. Make sure you get it the right way so it pulls the thread off at about a 90-degree angle from the back side, and then drag it over the top through that little slot and close the lid again. Then I need to grab some thread. And for fiddling around, I just use one of these big jobs here. Thread it through the top, go down through one of the discs, hook up into that little hook, and back up through there. And then down the outside, hook into here, and then we get it through the little hole. And you always have your foot up if you're running. If you're just fiddling around running it, you never run it with the foot down and no material in there, or else it'll wear out the foot. So now we rotate it by hand to hook the bottom thread. Pull that up. Come on. So now we get the two tails and pull them out the back. We'll just do a few stitches on this guy. Let's see, I'll do a pretty fine stitch right now, straight stitch, center position. see it does a pretty wide stitch at the bottom and very narrow at the top, and then all the way up is reverse. So we'll go back down to a fine length again. Spin this guy around a little. And now we'll pull the needle out, do stitch width all the way, and see what we get. I'm going to do a very fine stitch width, or stitch length. And it does a pretty good scallop. Now we'll flip this open a little bit so you can see this pin is just riding on the cam as it's going around. There we are. And it looks like there's no skipped stitches anywhere. Backside looks great. It's not the quietest machine, but it does a good job of sewing. I don't know if there's a... Oh, there is back there. Oops. So, put that back to 0. Well, that's about it. There's nothing really special about this machine. One thing I do want to point out, if you do use the cams, this is working against spring pressure out here. So every time this thing goes down one of the lands, it makes a little popping noise. So that's why it's a little bit noisy when you're doing a zigzag. You can see that it does a little pop every time it drops down into that valley. But it's still a nice machine. Okay, here's the bottom side of the 328K. Let me just show you what it looks like inside. This is back when they used all metal parts in the various pieces. The only thing I see that is plastic is this little piece over here that adjusts the motor up and down. The motor is internal to this machine. A lot of the older Singers, they had the motor hanging off the back, but this one is tucked up inside here. So it's got this nylon cam that you loosen a screw and twist the cam, and it moves the motor up and down to tighten the belt up in there. So let me just turn it on here and let you see how it works. It's an oscillating hook type machine, rather than a full rotary. So the hook just goes back and forth, hooking the upper thread each time it comes around. This guy over here moves the feed dogs. So when I move this lever up on top here, it changes the amount that the feed dogs move, and also it does reverse. Actually, it's this bar over here that makes the feed dogs go forward and reverse, and this bar causes it to go up and down. So now it's going in reverse, and now it's going forwards. and we put it in the middle and it doesn't do anything. The feed dogs will go up and down, but it doesn't go forward or back. So you can see this lever start to move when I go all the way down with the lever. In the center it doesn't move at all, and when I go up it moves it again. This particular machine didn't come with a foot controller when I got it, and so I picked up a Singer foot control for $5 at Goodwill at some other time, and wired it in. I didn't cut anything off of the foot controller plug just in case I wanted to use this on a different machine. So I just put new wires in from the inside the motor and the light down into a little block, and then I put some pins in the block that feed into the normal Singer 3-pin plug. It's not ideal, but it works. So I hope you enjoy my first video of the sewing machines that I have. I'm hoping to do more. This is the first installment, I'll say. So thank you very much.